You did everything right. You paid off the credit card. You built the emergency fund. You got the raise, the promotion, the salary you once imagined having. By any objective measure, you are ahead, further than you were, further than most people ever get. And yet, something still does not settle. There is still something that wakes you up at 3 a.m., a low hum of financial dread that does not match the numbers in your account, a quiet tension, a feeling that it could all disappear, that it is not fully secure yet, that you have not quite reached the point where you are allowed to breathe. And that is where the confusion begins, because the numbers say one thing, but the experience says something else entirely. Morgan Housel, in his book The Psychology of Money, points to something most financial advice avoids. The math was never the problem. As he writes, financial success is not a hard science, it's a soft skill, where how you behave is more important than what you know. Managing money well has less to do with intelligence or knowledge, and almost everything to do with behavior, patterns that build slowly, decisions that repeat quietly, responses that feel automatic, even when they are not. We are taught that financial anxiety is a knowledge problem, that if you just understand compound interest or build the right system or optimize the perfect plan, the fear will disappear. But it does not. People with savings, with stable incomes, with no debt, still feel uncertain, still check their accounts more than they need to, still hesitate before spending, still feel like something is missing. So the question shifts. If the numbers are improving, why does the feeling stay the same? Because the fear is not in the account. It is somewhere else entirely. Something that behaves like a debt, but does not appear on any statement. A kind of internal liability, one that no increase in income seems to reduce. There is a second layer to this, and it is more subtle. The moment you reach the number you once wanted, that number stops feeling like enough. You wanted your first 1,000, then it felt small. You needed 10,000, then more, then a safety buffer, then long-term security, then independence, then, somewhere further out, a version of yourself who simply does not worry about money anymore. The goalpost keeps moving, not randomly, but systematically. As Housel puts it, the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. Because enough was never clearly defined, and without a clear definition, it becomes impossible to reach. At the same time, something else is happening, quietly, constantly. Comparison. We measure where we are, against the people around us. He captures it simply. Enough is not too little. And as your income increases, your environment changes, your reference group expands, you gain proximity to people who earn more, spend more, live differently, which means the standard shifts, the bar rises at the same pace as your progress, so the gap never closes, not because you are falling behind, but because the frame of reference keeps upgrading. It is a system where progress and dissatisfaction grow together, and within that system, arrival becomes structurally impossible. To understand why the feeling persists, you have to look deeper than behavior. You have to look at what is underneath it. Your brain was not designed for financial systems. It was designed for survival, for environments where resources were uncertain, where loss had immediate consequences, where not having enough could mean not surviving. That system is still active. And it does not respond to logic. It responds to perceived threat, which means it does not matter what the spreadsheet says if the system still feels unsafe. There is another layer here. No two people experience money the same way. As Housel explains, everyone has a different experience with money, and those experiences shape how they see risk and opportunity. If you grew up in stability, your baseline expectation of safety is different. If you grew up in scarcity, your baseline expectation is different. If money was unpredictable, if it created tension, if it disappeared unexpectedly, your brain learned something. It learned that stability is temporary, that safety is fragile, that caution is necessary, and that learning stays. A promotion does not overwrite it. A higher salary does not replace it. A full emergency fund does not dissolve it. Because the response is not logical, it is conditioned, a stored pattern, the body reacting to an earlier experience. This is where one of the most important distinctions appears, the difference between being rational and being reasonable. Housel puts it this way: people do some crazy things with money, but no one is crazy. A rational decision maximizes return. A reasonable decision is one you can live with, one that allows you to stay steady when uncertainty appears. Some investors hold more cash than they should. On paper, it is inefficient. But in reality, it gives them something else. It gives them space. It reduces pressure. It lowers reactivity. So when markets drop, they do not panic. They do not sell. They do not abandon the plan. That inefficiency becomes protective. It allows the strategy to continue, which, over time, is what actually produces the result. This is the price of peace. It does not appear in the numbers, but it influences every decision behind them. And if it is not accounted for, it does not disappear. There is one more layer, and it reframes everything, compounding. It is often explained as a mathematical concept, but in reality, it is behavioral. As Housel notes, getting money requires taking risks. Keeping money requires the opposite, because compounding only works if you remain, if you stay invested, if you stay consistent, if you do not interrupt the process. Most people do not fail because of poor returns. They fail because they step out at the wrong time. He adds a warning here. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need, which breaks the timeline. And without time, compounding cannot function. This is why the most important financial skill is not maximizing return. It is staying in the game long enough for time to do what only time can do. Because compounding is not visible at first, it does not feel like progress. For long periods, it feels like nothing is happening, which makes it easy to abandon. The anxiety says, I do not have enough right now. Compounding responds more quietly. Stay. So why does more money still not feel like enough? Because enough was never a number. It was always a feeling. And that feeling was shaped long before the numbers changed. By comparison, by experience, by expectation. The internal ledger keeps running, tracking what is missing, discounting what is already there. And as long as that ledger remains unchanged, no external number will settle it. And at the center of it all, as Housel writes, the highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That is what most people are actually moving toward. Not more, but enough. Clearly defined, internally stable. Because more money does not resolve the feeling, but understanding the feeling, where it comes from, what it protects, what it costs. That is where something begins to shift, not instantly, but noticeably. The tension softens, the urgency reduces, the need to constantly check begins to loosen. And in that shift, for the first time, the numbers stop feeling theoretical and start feeling real. If this perspective resonates, you may wish to continue exploring these ideas here.